We are live. It is time. Welcome to Super Serial Showtime, everyone. If for some reason you see us dropping frames, there's nothing I can do about it, but we're rolling with it anyway. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. We're here to talk about shows, maybe some movies, comics, who knows, whatever we feel like it. So, you know, sit back, enjoy, invite some friends, invite some enemies, make sure you got something to eat. And feel free to talk in the chat. You don't have to talk about whatever we're talking about. Just know that we may not pay attention to it if you're not talking about whatever we're talking about. So, yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. The day went by. Oh, I'm off screen. One seemed to go by really fast.
My day went by very slow. But I think that was because I was kind of ill.
Yeah, oh, there we go. Sorry, it froze up for a second. But yeah, I'm fine. I was just saying I was right. That Sylvester Stallone is 5'10".
Yep, that's how much I remember. There's some of these people I've actually looked up their heights before, but it's trying to remember everyone. It's hard.
Yeah.
Nobody has any context onto why we were looking up the height of Sylvester Stallone. That was pre-show talk, but short story, we were wondering how big Garu, the hero hunter, was in the background, who is about the same height. He's officially marked at 5'10" in imperial measurements, but if you go by his metric measurements, he's like 177 centimeters, which is actually closer to like 5'9 3/4. It's close enough you'd round him to 5'10.
He's 5 plus the train platform that Harry Potter had to get on.
Was that 9 3/4?
I don't know. Yeah,
it was something in 3/4. Yeah.
I don't know. It just popped in my head.
If you run through it, you don't smack into a wall. You go through like a pocket dimension or some type of portal to get to the actual platform.
But by comparison, I don't know if he's the biggest hero, tallest hero, but that Puri prisoner guy. What did I say? 7'4"? Or was he 7'1"?
I think he was 7'2".
7'2". It was Andre the Giant, who's 7'4".
Yes. And that was likely near the end of his life. Because somebody like Andre, he just kept growing. He didn't have the option of stopping. Well, they did, actually. They were going to have to do like a crazy surgery to like do something to his pituitary gland. That would like the only way to actually stop his body from producing human growth hormone.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's how like some gigantism is. And you can usually tell if somebody's got like that form of gigantism because they don't look as like proportionate or whatever. Like a lot of times they'll end up with like, really big heads, or you could actually even look at their parents, right? Like Andre was just huge compared to his dad. It didn't look like anybody in his family he would have gotten those genetics from. As opposed to like some really tall basketball players, you look at their parents and like their dad was almost as tall as them. It was probably not a case of gigantism. They were just evolutionary gigantism. They were being bred taller over time.
Yeah. I was having some fun with Grok Imagine yesterday. And I'm actually kind of curious. I just thought of this because we're eventually going to talk about this infamous scene, the 2 seconds that people are freaking out about. But Garu being a little bit stiff for 2 seconds in one scene.
Apparently they're complaining about more than that, but I don't think anything else was really worth complaining about.
Yeah. Andre the Giant was like a python where he couldn't stop growing.
More or less, yeah. It's especially because you know it's the squared cube law when it comes to like surface area and volume. Because of the weight of his bones, even though he was still getting human growth hormone throughout his whole life, it was like an extremely reduced growth the longer he was alive, but it didn't stop.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we were talking about the character who's 7'2" and supposedly 400 pounds. Andre the Giant, obviously he's a bit thicker around the waist, but he was 7'4" and 520 pounds, which is not too surprising.
And well, I also think when he was a little bit younger, it was probably at one point the same size as Puri Prisoner. He gained a lot of weight throughout his career.
Okay, so I think I've solved the problem. Well, they're not going to listen. If they had called me, see, these animation studios just need to call you or me, and we'll solve all their problems. Let me see. So here's Garu animated by Grok Imagine coming down the...
I can't see it.
Hold on.
And also, I do not recommend the animation studio use Grok Imagine.
See, there he is. I just took that still image behind me. Yeah,
but he shouldn't be running.
That was easy. Oh. See my Stark room.
The fact of the matter is, they actually shouldn't really have animated him moving so much at how tiny he was. We're going to get into it, right? So I think we'll start with One Punch Man. Right, we can start with One Punch Man. There was a new episode of One Punch Man. We're going to be watching this and keeping up with it week by week as the season goes through. This is the second episode. Oh, excuse me. Second episode of the season. In some ways, it's the real first episode of the season. It's just in the course of an adaptation, you couldn't skip the content of the previous episode. So if you want, you can kind of consider it like a skippable episode 0 for anybody's like replay, or maybe they're going to wait till the end of the season to watch it. I wouldn't recommend skipping it. You'll miss out on some information, but you're not going to be ultimately missing out on too much, right? So episode 2 is kind of like the real start of what's going on in the season. There's a lot more action in it, a lot more people actually doing things and not just talking to each other. Trying to remember where my train of thought was going with that. But it was animated a lot better than the previous episode 2 because there were characters doing more actions. I remember the actual course of the episode because there's a lot of different things going on. There were some people also meeting back up with each other. There was Saitama was running around doing errands like he always does. At a certain point, he stopped to get some food. And he forgot his wallet at the last place that he shopped at, so he almost had to dine and dash. But that's where he ends up crossing paths with Garu at one point in time. Most of this episode followed Garu more than anyone else in the episode. About his struggles with as a person, you know, between like heroes existing, monsters existing, him always wanting to have been a monster or a hero hunter, but he's also not really getting along with the monster like organization and everything. That was most of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows. I mean, obviously, people who've read ahead know what will happen, and I don't want to know. But at the moment, it looks like he's kind of struggling with his desire to become a monster because he still wants to defend the helpless. I mean, the whole reason, as you said while we were watching it, you want to become a monster, struggles with type 2 diabetes, was because he was picked on and everyone seemed to hate him, right? And he was
because
sort of the underdog.
He was picked on, right? He became the picked on person because in the games, he didn't understand why the monster always had to lose with the heroes versus monster. It's like the monsters were the underdog.
Oh, right.
Right? And then he was like, why do the monsters always have to lose in every cartoon show, whenever we play our games on the playground? So that's why he started getting picked on.
Mhm.
And then he got into fights too because of that. And yeah, who wants to become a monster? Garrow. Garrow wants to become the monster.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, in the last season, he was kicking ass for the most part. Like, he came up against, he'd go up against multiple heroes at once
Yeah.
and kick all their asses. I mean, even, he was doing pretty well against,
No, well, to be fair,
what's
once
that guy's the older guy.
Bang and Bomb got involved, they were
Bang.
kicking his ass. But yeah, he was surviving
Yeah.
for a while. He used to be Bang's apprentice,
Yeah.
so he actually knows his fighting style and everything. And that's why Bang felt
Mhm.
kind of responsible for taking Garrow out.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually they took him down, but he had to.
There was
he had
like
to
5 or
heal.
6 before that, and he knocked all of them down at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and now it's hard to say like where he is. Like I guess he was kind of still recovering right up until
Mhm.
this episode when he gradually took off his bandages and he's all been finally healed. I imagine he can hold his own against the monsters that have come after him now,
Oh yeah.
but seems to be having some sort of crisis of conscience, maybe, or maybe it's just the circumstance because he's defending this little kid. That,
The fact is,
monsters
like,
are gonna-
he is a human, right? And he's lived a human life despite wanting to be like a human monster. Like he has this like attachment to Bang because he was his mentor, and he's like, no, I need to forget that, And he was even having like flashbacks about them training together and everything. So it's like he has all these same emotional attachments to things that humans have, even though he's trying to get rid of them because he's not a monster. He acts like one, but he's still physically a human. He hasn't ingested any monster cells. He hasn't done any of the things that I can't remember the name of that one monster, but they reveal in this one that the Gorgon-looking monster was the one who... actually, he's not really a Gorgon. He looks more like a beholder with a body. But the beholder-looking
Seems
monster...
like Ouroboros or something.
was the one who made the Monster King in the first place.
Orochi.
Yeah, Orochi. Yeah.
Oro-
I thought Orochi
Oh, wait,
was the
no,
Demon
no.
King.
Orochi
no,
is the
that's the one he
monster-
made.
Yeah,
Or the Monster King, yeah.
yeah. I'll find. But yeah.
Yeah. But he
they had a
revealed that
conversation.
Orochi used to be a human and that he made him the Monster King. Like something that powerful that you could take his cells and feed them to people and they would turn people and things into monsters themselves. And he wants to do the same thing to Garrow. Like that's his plan, is to make another Orochi.
The weird pink dude's name is Gyoro.
Gyoro. Okay.
Although I guess his what? Wait a minute. Oh no, I'm reading ahead. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, don't read ahead.
Gyoro turns out to be somebody else apparently, but I'm not gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I
I
mostly don't want
know
you
that.
looking things up because
just spoiled
I'm
it for
further
myself.
ahead in the manga, but you're like
Yeah.
only where the show is.
I was like, what? Wait a minute. Who's Gyoro? Oh crap! I already spoiled it. Damn it. Anyway, never mind. Yes, the weird-looking Gyoro reveals that he created Orochi, who's big demon. He's basically
Next time you
the
need to
leader
look up somebody's
of all the
name so you don't
monsters.
spoil stuff for yourself, just type in the name of the show and then type in behind the voice actors. Because that on that specific site, they do put pictures of each of the characters so you can look for the picture and find the name of the character there.
Mhm. Well, I thought it had another name and I clicked on it.
Don't click
It said
on other names.
Gyoro and then it had another name and I stupidly clicked on it. Although it's interesting. I'm not too upset by spoilers. I'll be curious to see when that reveal happens. But at any rate, Um, his plan apparently, so he sends these other two monsters to attack him, to attack what's his name?
Garo.
I forgot his name. Garu.
Yeah.
With the idea of basically breaking him down so he can build him back up as a real monster.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like.
Yeah, it's
I
more
don't know
like
if he's gonna
like a
lose this
stress
fight.
test type situation. Yeah.
When he finally started fighting back against these monsters who are threatening this little boy, I don't know. It's hard to say on the show. It's kind of whoever the mangaka wanted to win the fight.
Yeah.
is going to win.
It's
But
funny too.
He
It's
did
like
briefly run into.
Saitama was just around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ran into Saitama, and like it's funny because like obviously Saitama's. Well, do you want to back up before that? How it led up to that.
Yeah, both of them were at the same restaurant, and
Yeah.
Garo, which I knew that Garo wasn't going to be paying for his food. The second he was in the restaurant, I knew he
course.
wasn't going to be paying for his food. He was going to order
Ordered
everything.
Every meat dish.
Yeah, the largest steaks
At
they
least every
had, multiple of them, ate the whole thing, and then he dined and dashed. But while he's eating, it pans over to Saitama, who, as I said before, forgot his wallet. He left it at the cabbage stand or whatever when he was shopping for his Napa cabbages. And he's like freaking out internally. And there's even like a message being played that they up their security against thieves and robbers and dine and dasher. He's like, oh no. And if I tell them that I left my wallet, it's just gonna look like I'm turning myself in out of like guilt or something like that, or fear. So luckily, while he's sitting there, Fubuki shows up because she's been looking for him. And so he invites her to sit down, orders some fries, because you don't have to pay for your meal yet as long as you continue ordering food. And kind of like, yeah, have a fry. I'm sharing it with you. Which obviously, she's excited for that because she's trying to get Saitama on her side. She kind of has a thing for Saitama that's been building up. He's like, yes, I can get him to join the terrible Blizzards or whatever, right? The Blizzard Bunch, or I forget the name of the gang. She's the terrible Blizzard, but or Hellish Blizzard. But yeah, so he gets her to eat a fry, and then immediately after he hears about the other Dine and Dash, being the hero he is, he goes running after Garo, and he's like, hey, you ate a fry, you got to pay for it. And so like the whole bill is just hers now. He was trying to trick her into paying his bill so that he wouldn't get in trouble. Yeah. Does Saitama ever get a motorcycle?
He's not slow.
No. So he just takes his time. Saitama can get around the
fast.
city faster than literally anyone else. He's the fastest person in the show, or in the comic, too.
He probably run faster than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he runs after him. He's like, you pay the bill. Runs into him, and and of course, since
It's like literally right after this scene, too.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'll let you off with a warning this time.
Mm-hmm.
And but then Garu.
Well, it's actually right
after him,
before Saitama shows up, like actually catches up to Garo, is this scene right here that everybody's complaining about. So there's like a little kid who's getting bullied, and Garo's met this kid before. He was actually the kid in the shed who was getting bullied previously. It's not the first time that Garo has protected this kid. Right before he had an encounter with all of those heroes that he beat up before Bang and Bomb showed up, and Genos was there too. So he ends up like scaring the bullies away, protecting the kid again, and before he does that, they decide to have him slide down a hill, because that's what he does in the manga. He's up walking at the top of the hill where there's like a soccer field or whatever below, and he slides down to stop the bullies. Everybody starts complaining online because it looks like they just drew like a PNG and they keyframed it down the hill. There's no dust or like anything trailing behind him. But everybody who started complaining cropped out and enlarged just that one part. When you watch the scene, it's like not even an eighth of the frame. Like, I mean, maybe it's moving across an eighth, but it's like, you can't see it.
This is literally the scene.
They can't see it.
I mean, oh, you can't even. Oh, wait.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go. Should be able to see that. Yeah, he's like way off in the distance.
Yeah, like maybe
Tiny
he ends up covering an eighth of the screen across his slide, but the image isn't even. And it's like, yeah, of course you're just going to slide that. That detail doesn't matter at that distance.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, plus the slide, I was watching, I feel like it was literally 2 seconds. Maybe
it
one.
took like
I mean,
no
it was like
time at
really
all.
fast. Like if you weren't like watching for it, like, oh, there's the infamous scene, and it's like, oh, wait, that took a second. Like that's what people are complaining about. Like, oh my god, I never would have even thought about it. People were freaking out.
But I guess to expand
whatever.
on
At the same time,
yeah.
okay.
I was going to say
just
responding to Fizz Chozo, right? But you can finish what you were going to say.
I was going to say at the same time, people who were seemingly reasonable, even chibi reviews, was saying it was a better episode. It was much better than the first episode in terms of the animation. He did say that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what Chibi Review says. Because even though he said that, he was still being super hard on the episode. I'm like, dude, your opinions are just getting worse and worse over time.
I'm just saying as an example, and other people were saying the same.
Yeah. But responding to the what Fitzjoser was saying, because we already mentioned it, the reason he takes slow is not even to force drama, though from like a storytelling mechanism standpoint, you can say that. But the in-story reason is because Saitama doesn't actually feel anything's a threat, so he doesn't rush to it, right? He chased after Garo at a pretty fast speed, definitely not his full speed because he would have caught up to him before he hit the field, but because the threat there was to his personalhood. Right, like to him being in trouble for being a dine and dasher or something. So it's like, this is my excuse. But like anytime the world's in trouble, he's like, well, I could beat it in one punch, so nothing's a threat. So he doesn't feel the need to go faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he is faster than speed of sound Sonic, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
he
literally
can move so fast, even that guy can't even
bounced
see it.
himself from the moon to the Earth in like a second.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's
He found
Saitama's
himself on the
temperament.
moon and he had to hold his breath.
Right. Most of the problems in the show come from Saitama's temperament. Because if he wanted to, he could be like Superman running around everywhere and solving enough problems.
Yeah. But Garu, approaches him from behind after he's like, I'll give you a warning. And he starts to walk off, and that makes him mad. So he approaches him, but he just, because he goes, get off me, kind of a thing. And he goes flying off into the air and, knocked unconscious.
Yep.
So, I feel like that was his first real encounter with Saitama.
I think so too. I don't think he's ever had a physical exchange with him. I think they've passed each other a couple times before, but that's the first exchange they've ever had.
Because he didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
So obviously he didn't know him.
Yeah, he would recognize
Well, he
Saitama.
does, of course.
Saitama doesn't recognize anyone, ever.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Saitama was just so
Everyone's-
depressed that he wasn't even in the Hero's Almanac that the kid was carrying around.
Yeah. That's right. He was kind of mad about it. Or sad about it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else? I mean, Saitama walks off, obviously, and
Then the monsters show up.
Garu comes too. Yeah, the monsters show up. So there's a little bit of a start of a fight. It was a cliffhanger, I guess. at the end, but he kind of starts off and he punches the guy with the giant sword hands. So I suspect that will be continued next episode.
A lot of this story is just going forward is going to be the growth of Garo, which I think you could probably already tell if you don't know where the story's going from just the way they set up the end of the last season. But that's pretty much the arc we're in. Is we're still going to be with Saitama. We're still going to see what the hero organization's going to do. We're going to see like Genos doing things because the growth of Genos as a character is a major point to this story. But we're also going to be heavily focusing on the growth of Garo during this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if he actually does continue towards becoming a monster, or what side of him wins out, I guess.
Yep.
But just like, we kind of complained a little about the animation in the first episode, but definitely not as bad as people are saying. Because it's not that kind of show. I mean, there's
most of the things that they did in the first episode in this one either. Like, they used different animation techniques. People were moving more in general. It wasn't just like a bunch of GIFs put up on the screen. But I even defended that episode saying that it was a talking episode. It was always going to be a talking episode if you read the manga and knew what was coming next. So it's like if you had to save some of your budget, right? If you had to speed up the process on this episode so you could get to animating the other stuff and spending more time on it, that's the episode that you use the least amount of time on. Because the budget's really low for this season.
I mean, the funny stuff was, Blizzard walking into Saitama's apartment and all these other, S-tier heroes are kind of lazing around.
Oh yeah, there were 3 S-rank heroes and somebody who wasn't in the hero association, but was on the level of an S-rank hero, and Saitama, who is stronger than any of the S-rank heroes, but he's currently only a B rank or something.
Yeah, he's below her.
Yeah,
she's the number 1 B rank.
And she wants to get him into an A rank, but she's like, you'll need my help. That was half the conversation at the restaurant. It's like, you'll need my help if you want to get to the into the A ranks and start moving up.
He has to surpass her. It's a weird rule about, only the number 1 rank or number 1 in a particular rank can even be considered to move up to the next.
Well, it's not a hard rule, though, because you can jump ranks, but only through special circumstances. Because there have been people who've jumped entire categories before. Which you'd think if Saitama got the credit for the things that he deserves the credit for, that he would have been jumped right up to S from the beginning.
Yeah. I guess they did have a little bit of a conversation between... what's the kid's name? King?
Child Emperor.
Child Emperor. and that other guy. The guy in the suit.
It's got the word metal in his name. I just can't remember his name.
Oh, Metal Knight?
Metal Knight. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. Was that in this episode?
Yes, yes, it was in this. It was very briefly in this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Flit asks, why is the budget so low? Did they need to divert money to the latest I Was Reincarnated as Isekai? Well, the budget's not low because of the studio. The studio was given their budget and they're using it to the best of their ability. You have to blame the license holder for that because they're the producers of the show. Which is Jump Magazine and One. And I don't think One is probably the one holding the money back. I would probably blame Jump on that.
I guess the second season didn't do too well. Which I guess, but chicken or the egg. It didn't do as well because the animation wasn't as good. But...
Well, they already cut the budget between season 1 and 2, so.
Yeah. drastic. But oh well.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either.
It's just different style.
I think the big problem,
You
though,
can't
and, like,
watch.
I've said before, is that usually when you jump studios, you don't continue the story more often than not, right? If you jump to a studio, usually you reboot. But I guess there just wasn't a lot of time between season 1 and 2 for them to justify starting over from the beginning. Even though, with how long it's been from season 2 and 3, maybe they should have just done a full-blown reboot with JC staff from the beginning. Because if the whole series looks the same, nobody ever complains. It's the fact that they're just always going to compare it to Studio Madhouse's work on season 1.
Yeah. But they're wishing they hadn't gone that route. I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch season 1 and see. I didn't even notice because I wasn't paying attention to any of this drama, but I barely noticed the difference between seasons 1 and 2.
Most people won't.
Somehow.
That's why I don't think it's a problem. The vast majority of people who watch something are not animation snobs or nerds, right? Most of them are just watching for the story and the things that happen. They don't really care, you know?
Seemed fine to me. I mean, yeah, the whole what was it? The martial arts competition in season 2, and to me. Is there a bot that automatically notifies your Discord server of your new YouTube videos? Yeah,
There you can be. I don't have anything set up for that, but I also forgot to turn the event
there's one called
on.
Me6.
Named after
I've used one called
Mr.
Me.
Meeseeks.
I think it's called Me6. Yeah. Yeah. Look for Me6.
No, I do it manually.
Yeah, MEE6. Number 6. Best Discord bot for your server, according to them. That's what you want. And you're welcome.
What was I getting at?
Yep.
This is kind of standard. What's it called? Like animation for a shonen, for most shonen. Some of them, as they get better or like get bigger, I think, as they go on, sometimes you like increase the budget over time. But even like the long-term One Piece animator had to defend JC staff over it, especially when like he's like the issues are more complex than you realize. I honestly think they're complex. I have no idea why they have less budget than before. There's got to be a good reason. I mean, there could be some bad reasons too, but I don't know what any of the reasons are. So it's like, I'm not going to go and just start yelling at JC staff for this, especially when I've seen so many good stuff from them before.
Yeah, I don't think it's their, definitely not their fault. I mean, they're given a budget, and if they're willing to do it, they give it to their B team, I guess. They've done plenty of good stuff. What was I saying before? They did something relatively recently that was really good.
I'm trying to remember. It was something that we watched too. I just can't remember what it was. Or no, it was something at least you watched. I don't remember. If I pulled up JC staff, I'd remember.
Oh,
but, yeah.
They did Danmachi.
Danmachi, yeah, okay.
Fantastic.
Every time I think of JC staff, the first thing I think of is Azumanga Daioh. Like every single time. Everything else just gets like blanked out of my head.
Oh, they did, specifically, they did I think the Arrow of Orion movie.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing the whole thing. Yeah.
They're also involved in like
Great
the older
dude.
adaptation of like Magical Girl Utena, but or Utena. But that was about as long ago as Azumanga Daioh was. So.
Yeah, they did Arrow of Orion. They did Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, Legend of Crimson. Have I seen that?
Yes, you have.
I've seen that. Oh,
I believe that is the movie
Um,
that is in between seasons.
okay, yeah, that was the OVA. Is it called?
Mm-hmm. No, that one was an actual movie. That was in theaters.
Oh,
Was,
oh, yeah, yeah. That's the one where that's the one with the hermaphrodite demon,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like that mostly because they don't show her junk.
Well, I mean, there was a
Uh,
thing that was wrapping around Kazuha.
that was definitely a female tentacle. Ugh, never mind. She had nice figure. Anyway, a bunch of stuff I've never heard of. But I mean, a bunch.
You know, that could
of
be
stuff.
the case for like
So
any
much stuff.
studio that you looked up. It's going to be a bunch of stuff you've never heard of.
I mean, a ridiculous. Oh, Guilty Gear X.
Anyway, they're a very
Great Ace
accomplished studio
Attorney
that's been
Adventures.
around for decades. Like, genuinely just decades.
Yeah. Let's see stuff from 1999.
I think they had stuff in the 80s.
Oh, wait. They did do the entire 5th season of Danmachi. Apparently. And 4th. I guess they did do the show. I guess they did all of them. Okay. I mean, the animation on there is fantastic. But I'm sure they have a much bigger budget.
Probably, yeah. It's getting that Katakawa budget, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Their list of TV series only goes back to 1994.
Yeah, I don't
Metal
think they
Fighter Miku was their first.
did. Yeah, I don't think they did TV stuff before that. I know they were involved in some other projects in like the late 80s, but I think that was like assistant animation studio on some movies and stuff.
Wrath of the Ninja, 1989. And Elf 17 in 1987. But
You know, a lot of studios actually get their start as an assistant animation studio, where they're just a small studio, and they're like, well, nobody's going to hire us to do their whole movie or show, so you get hired on as like the processing studio. It's like after we get the keyframes down and stuff, we'll have you guys do all the fill-ins and in-betweens and everything like that, and or do backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you know, you do that for a few years, and eventually the studio ends up getting enough recognition that people will actually hire you to do the full show.
you know what else Chasey staff did? They did Food Wars.
I try to forget about that. Food Wars was just awful.
I never actually saw it. Yeah. So it just depends on how much leeway, how much budget they've got.
Mm-hmm. That's not the only thing we watched. We did watch other things too.
We watched all the things.
We didn't have too many other things to watch, you know, like we've been watching the same 2 or 3 things that we've been watching. Food Wars is the Foodgasm anime. Yes, it's that one. It's the one where like people's clothes literally pop off because they like the food so much.
Yeah. Yes, Flit. I did say Metal Fighter Miku. Exactly how you spelled it. M-I-K.
I did not like Food Wars. The animation wasn't bad in it at all. They even actually did some stellar animation specifically in those Foodgasm scenes. The story did literally nothing for me, though. Like, I just thought it was awful.
I have not seen that. Foodgasm.
Yeah. But next...
You know, if you...
Oh, what have you got?
I was gonna say if you play through Dave the Diver, there's some foodgasm scenes in that game.
So even more reason to not
Amusing.
play Dave the Diver. Got it.
Well, their clothes don't pop off or anything, but they do seem to love that weird seafood. They got that Boncho makes. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So the next thing was Spy Family. So, how did you feel about this week's Spy Family? Did you like it more than the previous? Because I know you weren't really feeling the previous week.
Yeah. Sorry, you'll have to remind me what happened. It's been a long day. I remember liking it more. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. They're going through Lloyd's past.
Yes. And this one was all prompted because Anya got one of those bolts, basically like a demerit for the school, and she can only get 6 before being like expelled from the school. Yeah. So that caused him to like
nitrous bolt.
Yeah, it caused him to like pass out. And he fainted, and then he was going through like reliving his old memories from how he basically got into the position he's in. Showed him as a kid. Showed his friends. The most of that was from the end of the previous episode, but we caught back up with him to where basically the war started when he was as a kid, which led him to joining the military because he thought his friends died. Then he met them again later, and then they actually died, and then he became a spy. And along the way, he met Frankie for the first time, who was from the other side, from the east. But he didn't particularly care for them. He was kind of like defecting and trying to run away, and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense why he's a spy that's located there. He's basically a mole for them as an information broker. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to know his past. But
yeah, now do they live in Ostania?
Yes,
right, because
he is a spy for
West Dallas,
and they live there. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So Frankie would be perfect because, although he was seemingly defecting, so he must have gotten out of that somehow. But yeah, this was quite the emotional roller coaster kind of episode. You know, he's thought his friends died when they were kids, and then he runs into them again.
His dad definitely
in a war,
died.
So yeah. They're in a war, so his friends have to go fight, and bad things continue to happen. And then he gets his whole town that he moved to gets, what do they call it? Firebombed or whatever. Bombed. Although that happened before he joined the army, obviously. So he was basically an orphan. And what happens after? Oh yeah. Eventually, actually, he got up to the rank of sergeant, apparently.
Yeah.
Which none of his friends, they were all privates.
They were all privates, yeah.
And he ends up getting recruited, mainly because I kind of says that he was impressed about the fact that he lied. He took over the persona of somebody from his town who died.
Which also allowed him to be. This is the reason why he was a sergeant. He was in the military longer than his friends too, so he'd already been like a couple of years or so since they ran into him, because he lied about his age. He said he was 18 before he was.
Yeah, but he took over the whole identity of that other guy,
and he kept it pretty good for a while. So it's like, you would be perfect for espionage.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, and you really don't have any choice because we actually know who you are, and if we turn you in, you're going to be court-martialed. Yeah. Probably executed. So, but that's when he meets his handler, who he calls Handler.
I like in the past,
been with the same handler.
anybody whose name is important to the series was just censored, like, which is how it was done
Yeah.
in the comic. They used like the redacted type censoring, and in this one they actually kind of like distorted the audio so you couldn't hear what the names were.
Yeah. But eventually well, did anything else happen before he wakes up? Or is he meets the handler?
The handler was the very last thing, and he woke up basically out of shock.
Yeah.
And then that's when he was like, why was I asleep on the couch in the first place? And then Anya tells him about the bolt again. He's like, well, at least she's actually making friends with the kid. That was like his plan B going well. And she's like, yes, I did help my friend. It's like, good. You make sure you help your friends. Which you could even tell that his attitude on that was coming less from the plan and more from remembering his friends when he was a kid. So then they go to make dinner, and it ended with Bond being very, very scared because Yor is preparing his dinner because he can't have the onions.
Yeah. So it was a really sweet episode, but sad. So I think he's just. I mean, there's really no reason why he wouldn't want to just stay a family if he can. It seems like, he had no problem just ending the prior missions, but now he actually has a full-on family. So it seems like I'm sure there'll be moments where he'll be, has to be pulled away or whatever.
Well, this is actually probably the first moment in the series that makes him actually care about the connection. And it's because he's remembering what his life was before a spy. Like, he likes them, right? He likes Anya. But this is the first one where he's actually considering personal relationships with people, because it's not something that goes through his brain normally. He's like, I'm a spy. I can't actually be attached to things.
Yeah, I think he felt the same. I think he felt that almost from the very beginning, but he didn't. It was subconscious.
Yeah. Well, because even as a spy, you have to lie to yourself to be able to really pass as whatever you're doing.
Yeah. The scene where Anya gets interviewed by that horrible guy, and she starts crying because he brings up her dead mother, and he just obliterates the coffee table.
Yeah.
I mean, he just loses control, and just punches the coffee table into just splinters. He's like, "Oh, I was swatting a mosquito." But you even hear you can hear his thoughts, and he's like, "Hang on, Lloyd. It's not that big a deal. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it!" And he ends up,
But it's like that with all of them too. Like, even Yor is still at that point of, she likes both of them, but her main concern is still having a cover so she can continue doing her thing, because it looks suspicious to be unmarried at her age. And also, she doesn't want anything bad happening to this family. Like, she cares more about their future than her future with them at this point.
Well, she's thought seriously about retiring.
Yeah.
Like, she would rather not even do that job.
But they're all, everyone except for Anya, who absolutely wants this family more than anything else. The other two are still kind of like, they're on a slow trajectory to coming together.
Yeah. Man, I thought they were gonna kiss when her brother came along, and she had to like drink that whole bottle of wine, and then she ends up just slapping Lloyd, and then passing out. She's such a lush. It's great. So yeah, I guess we'll see. It's such a slow burn because they can't get there too soon.
No, of course not.
Got a little bit of Lloyd getting closer to the family. They got a little bit of Anya. Anya actually is making more progress toward the mission than he is.
Yeah. So. Oh, and there's some heavy roadblocks that'll be coming up. Probably not this season, but probably the season after this one.
Well, I would say I definitely like this better. Although, yeah, it was definitely a tough watch in parts, to be honest. Good show.
Yeah, I think it's because like the previous episode just didn't really have much happening until we start getting into
Yeah.
Lloyd's flashbacks. There were some funny moments, like the old lady putting the bolts on people was pretty funny, and there was the good moment with Anya and Damien, like that's actually setting everything up to move forward. But aside from that, like not much really happened in the previous episode.
Yeah, yeah. The bull. I had to think about what you were talking about. Yeah, the lady
Yeah.
who came in who was like the Grim Reaper. She gave
Yeah, she's like the disciplinary
demerit
officer or whatever.
badges. Yeah. Ugh. Apparently, Fizchozo was shocked when it was revealed that Mike Myers was a CIA agent.
So I heard about his involvement with the CIA. I wasn't sure if he was an agent. I thought they said he was just a CIA asset, which a lot of people who have involvement with the CIA aren't actually agents. They're just assets. And a lot of times, too, that doesn't actually mean much. You could be an asset without being involved in some big covert thing, you know? You could just be feeding information to them about just some ongoings that might be important.
Mm-hmm. It says, according to Gemini, I guess, no credible evidence of him having covert ties.
Yeah.
But that's just what the CIA wants you to believe.
That's true. That is true. That is what they'd want you to think. But, like, you know, if the CIA pulled you over or pulled you in and started questioning you and you willingly gave them information or whatever, then you'd become a CIA asset right there. Like, they don't have to actually arrest you or anything. Like, they're just questioning you and, like, you're willingly giving them information. Especially if you're recurring over time, you're an asset. It is really not a big deal to be an asset. It depends on what the nature of you being an asset is.
Yeah. Well, something completely different. Chainsaw Man is #1 in Japan for the 5th weekend in a row.
Wow, I didn't even know they were going for a 5th week.
I mean, if you're still #1,
Yeah, why not, right?
that's, yeah.
I've seen some clips from
That's
it.
a
The
movie,
animation
right?
for the movie looks great. It looks much better than even the normal episode animation from what they were doing. I don't know which studios are working on it. I know Studio Mappa, the one who does Ranma, did the Chainsaw Man series. I don't know if Mappa's involvement is in the movie or not. I think they are. But a lot of times with those movies, you might have more than one studio working on it, so it might not just be Mappa. But it looks great.
Yeah. I never watched Chainsaw Man, the first
I enjoyed
season,
it.
I guess.
My problem with Chainsaw Man is, and even looking ahead, I haven't kept up with the manga, but I've skipped ahead to see where some of the stuff are going. I just don't know if it's going anywhere interesting. Like, I don't know where this eventually goes. I think no matter what, it's either going to have a bittersweet ending or it's going to be a tragedy. All right, like I don't know if you can actually get something more than that out of it, and that's fine. It's fun to indulge in a good tragedy if it's written well. I just can't tell where it's going. But the first season and that and even up to where the movie's taking us, because the movie's covering what would be a second season just in like movie form.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good at that point. It's interesting.
Cool. Well, guess what else is happening? Remember how Alice in Borderland was 2 seasons and then they made up a third one? Like, because that was the end of the manga?
Yeah.
They're doing a new manga
Oh, okay.
of Alice in Borderland called Alice in Borderland Retry. And obviously I don't know anything about it, but I imagine it's going to be similar to
Maybe.
the 3rd season in some way.
Or it could
Basically
be
says, yeah,
splitting off and following up the spin-off stuff, because there's a couple spin-off manga in Alice in Borderland.
Well, I mentioned that what's her name? The White Rabbit, his wife
Usagi.
is Usagi is pregnant, going to have a baby, and all it says is the Borderland is not done with him.
Yeah, that does just sound like it's following the plot, which was pretty lame, actually. We never talked about Alice in Borderland after finishing it, but I thought the third season, which is the most recent, wasn't that good. I was entertained.
Yeah.
But like I could have just left it. I didn't need to see that season at all. I don't think it added anything substantial to the story. So I don't think this will. Unless he could refine it, right? Because the creator had a lot of input on the script of season 3. Being able to do it in manga form, he could refine it could too. It could be the way that should have been, right? Like instead, a completely different direction, but I just don't think that season added anything to the story.
Yeah. It certainly made me hate Usagi.
Yeah, same. Absolutely.
What a selfish bitch.
I give her some credence, or like that she didn't know she was pregnant. But even aside from that, it's like you're married.
Yeah.
You have a husband, and you're gonna go running into the fucking Borderland again without it,
Just to chase after her obviously dead father, like
that probably wasn't even.
Did she ever even? Yeah, I mean, she never did find out what happened to him.
No.
Obviously. Yeah.
Why is she just named Rabbit?
Climbing in either.
Because everybody not everybody, but almost every single person in the series is named after an Alice in Wonderland character. So her name is Yuzaha Usagi. That's her surname is Usagi, but a lot of people call each other by their surname until you get close to them. And she is the White Rabbit. So
except for Arisu.
Yeah, this is actually the other thing I didn't like about
Keeps
season
calling
3
her.
is that everyone still called her Usagi even after they got married, including him. And it's like, that's her maiden name. Her given name is Yuzaha. Even on her like doctor's forms and everything, it said Arisu Yuzaha, because in Japanese you write the surname first. So it's like, and she still calls him Arisu.
But she still calls him Arisu. He still calls her Usagi.
Yeah, it's like you have the same surname now. You're married.
Yeah, Arisu. Yeah, that's both of us now.
His name was
She didn't change her
Kyohei.
name. No, she did. Yeah. She did change her name. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on all the medical forms at the hospital and everything.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. But yeah, it's a Alice in Wonderland. What do you call it?
Homage.
Homage, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a. What was the doctor's name? Was Cheshire?
Yeah, because he was the Cheshire Cat. A lot of these, I actually like pieced together who was what before I even knew most of their names. Because like I was sitting there trying to figure out, okay, who's who.
Figured out who the caterpillar was. That girl, martial arts.
Yeah, it was the
fighter.
tranny.
Well, yeah, the trans girl.
Which again made sense, right? Because caterpillars become butterflies. So if you're gonna do that with any character, the stone caterpillar makes the most sense.
Yeah. Did we ever figure out? Oh yeah, you did, right? So there's a Mad Hatter.
Yes.
Who they called Hatter.
Yeah, so that one was just like easy.
Yeah, and his.
But I think I did figure it out like
right?
literally right before they said Hatter, like 5 seconds before they said Hatter. It's like, no, he's the Mad Hatter.
Yeah. And then was the girl the detective? Was she the dormouse, basically?
Yeah, I think she was the dormouse. And she was the
and then of course
crime scene investigation person. That was her background.
Right. But they ended up combining the Queen of Hearts and
the Red Queen.
Yeah. The Red Queen.
But a lot of people do, so that's kind of tradition.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just.
The only one that I
didn't
don't
really
think
follow the story of Alice in Wonderland
came from anything was Agony, which they overpronounce as Aguni a lot. I think they picked his name because it also sounds like the English word agony, because he was a person who was like suffering the whole time. I think he was also a combination character, or not just him. I think the Hatter was also a combination character. I think the Hatter was also the Carpenter, because they were leading everybody on the beach. So Agony was also the Walrus who was there with the Carpenter.
Mm. Did Agony's little girlfriend later? Did she die or did she come back?
No, she was being pushed in a wheelchair. Remember at the very end, she saw him like he had like the breathalyzer and stuff.
She lost her leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he went through a lot, but he ended up with a high school chick.
Yeah, that I didn't like about the second one,
Yeah.
or the third one, I guess, technically season 3, but I'm going to call that the second part because seasons 1 and 2 adapt the actual manga. So the sequel season, a lot of things I didn't like about it. The first story, because everybody was in the same accident, they all basically, at least that era of games, kind of showed up at the same time, more or less. Everything that happened to them in there was a reflection of the injuries they got in the meteor accident. Like when they woke back up, they all had the same injuries and everything like that. That's just thrown completely out the window in season 3 because it doesn't matter. Even the way like 2 of them get there is like or 3 of them, I guess, but they get there by like putting drugs into themselves and kind of like having a false death. And it's like, well, you only have like 2 minutes before you have to win the games and come back to life or whatever. And it's like, there's so many, they just took all the lore that was built up from the manga and just threw it out the window. And I blame even the creator for that, because he was at least a part of the writing staff for it and had license holding power. So it's like, apparently he didn't care at the end of the day what they did.
Yeah. Maybe he wanted it to be bad in comparison to his eventual story.
Maybe he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it better.
And it was, although it was a little silly that basically this whole thing was sparked by a giant meteor strike that blew up this whole area. But like, what else could you do?
Yeah.
In terms of a disaster that basically kills a lot of people. Yes, but then they'd all be drowning, wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, there's still other things
this
that
way
happen.
They could all have different
buildings, like because buildings get crushed in a tsunami, not like everything stands. So like, there's going to be debris hitting people. People are going to get caught on things. There's all kinds of injuries you can get in that situation. Even an earthquake, right? People get all kinds of injuries in an earthquake too, which is what causes tsunami. And that was actually the biggest problem that at the end, it's not necessarily a problem, but you could tell that they're setting up for the Netflix original spinoff of like an Alice in Borderlands in the US or whatever, right? In like California. And it was being set up because there were earthquakes happening all over the world. So like, oh, we're going to have our Alice in Borderlands with our diverse cast. Is what's going to happen now.
Yeah, of course, set in California. So.
Yeah, I don't want to blame. I'm trying to remember his name. I think it was like Hara or Haro. I don't want to blame the mangaka too much though, because he definitely wasn't the only person writing it. A lot of mangaka are used to fleshing out their ideas over a very long period of time, so it can be a lot harder to write something in a smaller seasonal format like that. And it had been so long since he touched the story. I think even the last spin-off one-shot was several years before the first season began production, because this started in like 2010 or 11. That he probably was just like distant from his own story working on this, you know?
Yeah. Haro Aso.
Oh, yes, it was Haro. Yeah.
So, yeah, I've not read any of the manga, so I don't know.
Oh, I haven't either. It looks like one I would have read if it didn't come out like the year I went to college and just got busy like with other stuff. And I stopped reading manga regularly for 5-ish years, which was like most of the run of that. But it was in the type of magazine that I would regularly read. I believe a lot of it was in Weekly Shonen Sunday, maybe, or the guy worked with Weekly Shonen Sunday a lot. I don't remember if I read that Alice in Borderland was, but that's like my favorite Japanese magazine is Weekly Shonen Sunday. So odds are, if I was reading at the time, I would have been reading that. I also missed a lot of Renee's Cycle of Reincarnation during that time too, which was a Takahashi book. And you know how much I like Rumiko Takahashi.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So it's like if I was missing her stuff, I was missing everything else too. What did I go to college for?
Well,
I never finished, but I was originally going for the art side of video game designing, right? Like doing modeling and like illustration, character design, all of that stuff. But I switched to advertising halfway through before I dropped out because I realized I could already do everything that I would have needed to do, and anything I couldn't, I would pick up really fast. So actually having a specific degree in the art side of like game design wasn't going to be very helpful, even if I wanted to do that. Even looking through, because there's a lot of business classes and stuff associated with advertising degrees, that would have just been an overall better degree, even to do the art in video games. Having an advertising degree would be better than a video game art degree. So that's what I switched to. But then I was running into like funding issues, and that's why I never finished.
You go to Full Sail University?
No, I was not. I was actually at Texas State Technical College in Waco, which is a highly recommended one for either of those degrees. It was a good college. I don't regret going there or anything. Yeah. I met some cool people there too. The first co-host I ever had on the show I met there was my buddy Eno. He was my roommate.
Did you just go for 1 year? Or?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got before I ran into like funding issues.
Surprised you couldn't I guess I don't know if you would want to get a loan or not.
Well, so the problem was with loans, which is something I really just don't want to dive into. But we got into like dispute with the private loan like organization, who didn't like even the fact that I was switching majors in my first year. It's a very common thing to happen. And there were some things that they were arguing with me about dropping classes more than I was supposed to. It's like, but I didn't actually drop classes. I switched major. It got into an argument where they weren't willing to resolve anything at all. So like I was just up a creek without a paddle.
I wasn't even allowed to choose a major until after my first season. First year.
Yeah. No, we were forced
the
to
first
choose
season
from the start.
Yeah. Well, I went to general.
Yeah. And I went to a tech-based junior college. So you could get either a certificate or an associate's there. They could say they could do more than associates for some programs, but if you wanted to get more than that, then you were going to have to transfer to a full university after that point.
I see.
It was pretty cheap though. Like I don't really owe much money at all.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, Ranma had an episode.
Yep. That's what we got next is Ranma 1/2. Mentioned Rumiko Takahashi before that. Very fun episode. It is the follow-up to the previous one where Musa challenged him to a duel, but Ranma is now stuck as a girl. He is as sensitive as a cat's tongue and can't go into hot water and has to find some interesting, unique way to fool the blind moose into thinking he's a man for their man-to-man duel. And he spends all night working on it and shows up to their man-to-man duel disguised as a boy version of his girl self. Not as his actual boy self, as a boy version of his girl self, because he's very small still. But Moose is blind, so this is not a problem. He wouldn't be able to tell the difference as long as, like, everything looks remotely the same. Funny thing is, I believe in the animation, they did the same thing that the original series did, where they implied that Ranma was wearing a wig. Not something he had to do in the manga, because manga Ranma has black hair no matter what form he's in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, we decided that
pink hair?
Ranma has like red or pink hair depending on the version, so we have to make it look like he's got a wig on. But you never actually see the wig leave, right? It's just like an implication that he's wearing a wig, because as soon as he goes back in, out of the outfit into, it's like, I can beat you even disguised as a girl, it just disappears. It's like the whole thing in a single flash is back to normal hair color.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I watched that scene from the original one after we watched it, and it made a lot more sense in the original. Like, it didn't make sense the way they did it in this one, that all of a sudden everyone realized, oh wait, I guess he can actually turn into a girl, and we're totally fine with that with no explanation.
Yeah.
But
yep.
in the original, they kind of explain a bit.
This was an important episode because it is the introduction to the Kachu Tenshin Amaguriken, or as you know, is the chestnuts burning on an open fire technique.
Oh. But yeah, it was, he just like comes out and he's disguised as a bunny girl.
Yeah.
But then like, so he kind of starts off like, oh yeah, I'm just dressed like a girl to humiliate you.
Yeah.
But I felt like by the end of the fight, maybe Moose didn't figure it out, but everyone else was like, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a girl.
Yeah. Well, so this is also kind of the point. We were talking about this, and so this is closer to the manga, right? The original was further. Yeah. For some reason, Studio Dean thought that they were going to prolong the kind of like open secret of the difference between Ranma and the Pigtail Girl. This is about the point where anybody in his class who didn't already figured it out. That it's like, that's literally just Ranma. Even them walking into the cat cafe afterwards, they're like, why is Ranma still a girl and working at this restaurant as like a waitress, right? In the manga, like, they know. Everybody just like in the town knows, except for people who are particularly stupid, like idiots. Kuno is so thick-headed that he never figures it out, even though like literally everyone else in the school knows. Same with his sister, Kodachi, also just never figures it out. They're like, oh, it's cursed that you happen to have the same name as that vile Ranma, you know? But they're the same person. They wait all the way until the love as a cheerleader arc, which is like halfway through the entire manga's run, to reveal it to the school in an added scene that wasn't in the manga, where Genma comes up and he like pours water on him back and forth, and everybody knows now. It's like they've known for like half the school year at this point.
Yeah. Well, I could see it going either way. I guess they decided, well, there's more tension if people don't know. You know, there's endless possibilities of him having to hide it or whatever. But yeah, they just, second season is like, yeah, everyone knows now.
Yeah.
I guess it was, I mean, is a bit less confusing because I was confused because it was just like, wait, like, okay, obviously his, disguise was not very good, because it's like, okay, yeah, but a guy doesn't have that figure,
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious to anyone who could see, unlike Moose.
Yeah, who needs like grandpa glasses to be able to see anything at all.
Yeah. But in the original, they pretty much spell it out. Like, I can't remember exactly what the lines are, but yeah, they just kind of says it. And
I have issues with that.
Yeah, even Shampoo figured it out.
Right. And the reason I have issues with that too is because Rumiko Takahashi is a really good writer. And anytime that people are like, we're going to change the story, it's like, you have the balls to think that you're a better writer than Rumiko Takahashi, the studio that's adapting her work, you know? Because it's supposed to be comedic, right? Like, even with the tension is only supposed to exist in Ranma for the sake of comedy. Like, when it gets relieved, there's going to be some comedic snap to it, right? And there's a lot of times where it seemed like Studio Dean thought, they were funnier than Rumiko Takahashi. It's like, well, if you thought you were funnier, you should just be making your own original series instead of adapting her work. Or B, they thought like they needed to be more serious at times. It's like, if it wasn't written to be serious in that moment in the manga, you shouldn't be trying to make it more serious in the show, because you're probably the one who's actually ruining the pacing or the flow of things here.
Yeah. But anyway, I guess, did he beat Moose?
Oh, yeah. So what happened was, this is something that they also ruined in the original adaptation, because it was more decompressed. The seasons were longer, so they split this part between 2 different episodes. In this one, Dr. Tofu comes up and has the old Ediko man Moxibustion point, like right there in the battle that lets Ranma turn back into a guy to finish off the fight, and then he just handedly kicks Moose's butt after he's back into a guy and has like his full reach and strength and everything. In the original adaptation, he beats Moose as a girl, but then sees Dr. Tofu afterwards because he thinks he's got a solution after he found out about the Moxibustion point. And that's like a whole nother episode where Ranma is just a guy temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Just pointless.
Yeah. And it's just because it was like, I think the Moose episode filled up such a whole episode that they wanted to move it to the next one so that they were 2 different plots, right? Like, they needed to fill another whole episode. Well, this is more compressed. It's actually following the chapter pacing a little bit more. And it happened exactly when it was supposed to happen in the manga.
Yeah, it sounded like they just wanted a girl to win the fight. But
I don't know about that. It does really just feel like they were trying to separate this. Like, so we have 2 full plots that we can use for episodes. Like, they were trying to cheese, like a kid who adds filler words in their essay to hit their word count, right?
I guess, yeah. I haven't seen the original enough to say. But this worked perfectly. I mean, you know, gets there just in time, and
then you find out,
fight, but then of course
it only works once. It's
temporary. Yeah. And she reverses it right back again, right? Mm-hmm. The grandmother.
Well, no, what happens is like it only worked for one like spill of hot water. She didn't have she could just wait, because then it started raining and Ranma turned back into a girl.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then everybody started chasing Ranma because there's a bunch of perverts that live in that town.
But they end up at a festival, right?
Yeah, so before that, Ranma's trying all these different ways to get the Phoenix pill from Shampoo's grandmother, Cologne. Because Shampoo goes up and tells Ranma what the cure is. It's like, the cure is the Phoenix pill, right? And the whole time, Ranma's like, I need to get that pill. But Ranma is like 100 years too young to just get the pill from Cologne on his own ambition. So Cologne's like, listen, I'll teach you the technique you need to get the pill. And that's where she takes her over to a fire, puts some chestnuts on it, and shows off the Kachu Tenshin Amiguriken, right? Which is where you pluck the chestnuts from the fire so fast you don't get burnt. And Ranma's trying to practice this. He's having trouble. It's like, I cannot at all. He was working a part-time job to try to like get the pill before the chestnuts roasting out an open fire technique. It's like nothing is working. He's getting heat exhaustion just being next to the fire because of the cat's tongue moxibustion, and Sohn is like, the fair, boy, the fair. Anytime I feel sad, the fair just carries my ails away. You'll feel better if you go to the fair. So they all get dressed up in their yukata and everything, and they go to the fair. And Rama figures out that it's not the fire that is the point to the technique. It's just the training mechanism. And it's like, if you apply it to something else, you can. They get up to a fishing tank, like one of those. If you could scoop up the goldfish with like this tea strainer, you can keep it. And Kane is just a klutz and not able to do it all. She keeps popping the paper tea strainer every single time she goes in. And Ranma uses the technique basically to catch all the fish, and then an entire container of piranha afterwards too. He's like, oh, I'm fast. It doesn't matter. I'm just fast. I can get all of them. They're free. They're on the house because I got them all. And he realized, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it. And finds out that the Cat Cafe is holding a haunted house, and Cologne is there. So he's like, I'm going to get the Phoenix Pill tonight. Goes into the haunted house and has a showdown with Cologne, who is floating in a giant onsen. Just a huge, hot bathhouse that was dug out underneath the haunted house. And it's a pretty fun showdown, only for Rama when he does like sacrificial attack, where it's like, I'm gonna get hit to be able to get the thing I want. Pulls the pill away, but it's just candy. Now, the pill wasn't inside the container at all. It was just candy, like a gumdrop. And it's like, better luck next time.
That's cheating.
Yep. Well, Cologne doesn't play fair.
She has a hidden. Yeah, she has it hidden somewhere else, I guess. But yeah, that was a pretty good episode.
I think I told you in the original adaptation, for some reason, they separated the fight from the fair. Right? So they still went to the fair. They still did all the same stuff. Like the Rama's having fun, the shooting gallery. They end up doing the goldfish catching. But then the fair ends. And Rama goes back to the cafe the next day after like figuring out, I can do the technique. And for some reason, everything that was supposed to be in the haunted house, that thematically makes sense in a fair haunted house, because they were like the Chinese family in the neighborhood. So they bring a bunch of Chinese stories, right? Like you have the 4 characters from the Journey to the West are in the hallway before the hot spring, like the Monkey King and the pig-faced monk and all that stuff. Like that makes sense in a fair. Why was that in the bathhouse? Right? It's because they just adapted it into that moment after separating it. And why is there a giant bathhouse under the Cat Cafe? I mean, I guess equally, if you dig it out, it makes as much sense as there being one at the fair. But all the other stuff makes more sense at the fair. So it's like, yeah, I think it's better just to follow the manga.
I imagine the haunted house was much bigger than the Cat Cafe, so it was like there wouldn't even be room for
it was just like a trap door that opened up, like.
And suddenly they're isekai'd into a giant hot
Also
spring.
appreciated. He was there because I was telling you the next 2 times that we see Shampoo's father. One would be in the background of the audience during the Moose and Rama fight. The other would be almost immediately afterwards when Rama starts working at the cafe. Shampoo's dad is also working at the cafe. And it's like, it's cool. Maybe anytime we go back, we might even see him in the background, even though he wasn't in the panels of the manga, just because it's nice that this adaptation acknowledges that her dad exists at all.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, Flit jumped the gun. I'm sure
I was going to bring that up after that. Yeah. But he's asking, is it true they're redubbing some lines to remove the Netflixisms and make the dialogue more faithful to the manga? At least one scene I've seen is correct, and it makes me want to go back and rewatch season 1. There was something that was not faithful to the manga in this recent episode. That startled me. That was, if you heard something, that was on my end.
Yes, that was weird.
Yeah. That was probably something over in loading on my end. But yeah, so there was a moment where Shampoo, instead of taking the opportunity to make fun of Akane, because that's what Shampoo takes digs at Akane anytime she can, right? It's when she was telling Ranma about the Phoenix pill, and she's like, "Why are you helping us out?" And she just like almost romantically says, "Because Ranma's my lover, only the boy's side," which, you know, is kind of true to how she believes. But in the manga and in the original adaptation, she's like, because I only like the boy side of Ranma, unlike you, perverted Akane. It's kind of like how it goes. It's like, who are you calling a pervert? Right? And Shampoo's kind of like happy, gleefully saying it, and Akane's like cartoonishly mad face. And they just cut that out. And I guess it's because I don't think that's Netflix necessarily, though they might be where some of the pressure is coming from. That in the Japanese was even changed. Like the scene itself was changed from the studio end. And I think that's just general pressure. Right. And Netflix is probably part of that general pressure.
The implication being that if a girl likes a girl, that it's perverted.
Yes.
But
you know what?
They weren't going to say that in 2025.
Yeah, and it's not even like the implication matters because it's coming from Shampoo. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't even want to test the waters on stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't want to go there.
Yeah. But the one that was changed...
That doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah. I mean, it bothers me, but I think that's because one of the things I liked about this is I'm kind of a purist for the manga, and for the most part, this has been really, really close to the manga, with the exception of their radio club, the broadcasting club at Furinken High. But those guys really actually haven't been too much in the way. Like, they showed up during the fight with Ranma and Moose, which I kind of predicted that would be the next time they show up. I'm like, hopefully if they do show up, it's only for fights, and I'm okay with that. If they just want to have their own broadcaster for the fight, that doesn't bother me at all, as long as they're just not getting in the way of the comedy and other bits of the series. I'd still prefer them not to be there, but it doesn't bother me that much. The part that was changed was actually another scene that the broadcasting club was in. If you go back to the first season, it's when Ranma and Ryoga was having their fight. And there's a point where Ryoga tears Ranma's shirt with his umbrella. And he's like, "That's my favorite shirt." And then there were some follow-up stuff. So Ryoga's line, which didn't change too much between the two, but they did alter it, was always along the lines of, it's kind of girly to care about clothes in the middle of a fight, right? The original bastardized line was, why does caring about clothes have to be girly? And they fixed it to more, who are you calling a girl? Because that's actually Ranma's problem. He doesn't give a shit about what you think a gender role is or not, because he doesn't care about the role of a girl. He just doesn't want to be a girl. So calling him a girl gets under his skin. He'll hear that even if that wasn't the line said to him. Kind of like if somebody says the word short, Edward Elric is going to go crazy. He's like, who you calling short? You know, it's like, it's the thing that gets under that individual person's skin. And by changing the line, it doesn't make sense that you got under Ranma's skin. So changing that back was better.
Yeah, he was just saying like, why is caring about clothing, well, you said it, caring about clothing girly? I didn't, the correct
like, who's you calling a girl?
Yeah. So they did. That's interesting that they went back and fixed the dub.
Yeah,
like, I wonder who changed it and who changed it back.
Yeah, it would have to be the localizer was the one who had to make the initial decision. And maybe Netflix changed the localizer. I don't know. But they apparently paid the voice actors to come back and redub it. So, I want to see what else might be redubbed. Maybe the entire first... Maybe Akane is no longer saying I hate men and is saying I hate boys like she's supposed to. I don't know. I haven't checked.
Yeah, which, when I first watched it, I was like, I might not have. Well, probably wouldn't have picked up on the significance of that until you pointed it out.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, in retrospect, it made no sense for her to say "I hate men" because she clearly does not hate men.
Yeah, she likes Dr. Tofu a lot.
Yeah, like right there in that same,
But that's the difference
same
too.
episode.
The people in her school are boys. Dr. Tofu is a man, right?
Yeah,
And she loves her dad a lot
That's
too,
a
who's a man.
very
too,
different sentiment.
right? She doesn't hate men. She admires men. She hates childish boys.
right. Excuse me.
Yeah, bless you.
Yeah, we'll have to go watch and see if they fix anything else because that was pretty blatant. Like,
Yeah.
what were they trying to say? They were trying to imply that she's a lesbian, but she clearly is not.
No, not at
even
all.
close. So, yeah, that was just dumb. So
I wouldn't say
would
not
hope
even
they would
close. Not even close would also be wrong. She definitely likes girl Ranma, but it's not the biggest thing. Like, she definitely prefers boys anyway. And that is something that comes out more as the series goes. But yeah.
Well, to date, she seems very straight. Even though she's a tomboy.
Yeah.
Well,
She does grab Ranma's boobs a lot. Mostly as punishment, but like, it does happen quite a bit.
yeah. Well, that's just the show. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of boob grabbing in the show in general.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. I like this episode. What do you think of it?
I thought it was great.
It's
I
getting
thought it was a
better and
much better adaptation, even with that one little nitpick than the like dual episode adaptation of the original one. So it's like, yeah, everyone likes boobs. That's true. Everyone does like boobs.
Yeah.
It's the first form of shelter and nourishment that you have in life. So every single person likes boobs.
And as was pointed out in the first season, Ranma is better built than her, so
Yeah.
see a little jealousy there.
There are several times, I will see it though, where like Akane admits to, it's like, well, like Ranma, I like you the way you are. But that's also part, I think, of
Like
the
the way he is, where he can switch
goes
back and
and
forth.
forth. Yeah, it's like Ranma, you're fine already the way you are, right? And the part of that comes down to Takahashi, because that's like the point of the story too. Is like, if you actually removed Ranma's curse, he'd kind of no longer be the character of Ranma, right? So it's like,
Right.
she's toyed around with it a few times. It's like, I could never get myself to actually remove Ranma's curse.
Well, I thought that was striking actually when in her conversation with Shampoo. Shampoo wants to change him. She doesn't like him the way he is. She wants him to be better, in her eyes, or she
And
wants to
Akane
change
is
him
just
so
like,
he's
wants to
perfect for
support
her.
Ranma
Kane's
as
like,
he is. Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what, it's like, okay, well, sometimes he's not perfect. He has this problem, but I don't care. Whatever. I like him how he is. Thought that was. I thought about that when they when they said that. I was like, oh yeah, I can see why he wouldn't be with Shampoo. She doesn't even, she doesn't like him.
Yeah. So they
unconditionally.
And I hope this one doesn't do this as much. They already haven't been, but they could lean into it more. The original adaptation tried to make it seem like the other suitors were viable options, specifically Shampoo. They really wanted to make it seem like Shampoo was a rival to Akane and not just a nuisance to both of them. This one doesn't seem to be doing that as much, but we'll have to wait longer to see because none of the other ones are actual options.
Yeah, it seemed like she could have been. She's really cute, and I mean, she's adorable. But yeah, I mean, as time goes on, it's very clear why he has no interest in her.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's glad they're not really doing
and why.
that.
Yeah, and the fact that Akane just is genuinely, you know, that's she's his mate.
Yeah. Well, I think when Dean did it,
She's perfect
and
for him.
I mean Takahashi's stuff already, despite appealing more to boys than girls because it was written for a boys magazine, still appeals more to girls than most other shonen stuff do. Because, you know, she's writing from like a woman's perspective and like, here's a fun thing that everybody would enjoy. I think Dean was trying to get even more of a female audience by playing into the budding shipping culture that started in the late 80s, right? And by having like these multiple options, getting almost like the soap opera effect from it. Trust me, I don't engage with a lot of Ranma 1/2 fans because a lot of them are shippers.
Yeah.
And I don't want the new adaptation to encourage them even more. It's like, whatever the manga did is fine because the manga's great. You just stick with that. Don't add more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, don't change the actual, talented artist's work.
Yeah. Highest selling series from Rumiko Takahashi to date, too, in Japan, and I think even technically worldwide. Some people would think it's Inuyasha, but it's actually only really more popular than Ranma here in the States. Ranma's more popular pretty much everywhere else. Or wouldn't even say just the States, anywhere that had the Western like dub, Inuyasha's more popular, but like literally everywhere else, Ranma is the highest selling series that she did. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go and bastardize this like golden goose egg.
Yeah, not smart.
Yeah.
Would not be smart.
Anyhow, we've made it to the end of the show. I don't really have too much more to say on that. I mean, I do. I'll probably go on for hours talking about Ranma 1/2. But on the episode that we were talking about, I don't have too much to say. I don't know if you do. I think it might be time to close things out. Especially because I think we're
Sounds
both
good to
probably
me.
getting pretty hungry and there's spaghetti ingredients sitting on the counter waiting to be cooked. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please share it out with literally anyone else. We'll take those love shares. We'll take those hate shares. I'll take whatever share you got. And if you happen to really like the show, you can consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitoriumlive. Really helps us out. And we'll see you for the talk show no later than Thursday. Probably playing ZZZ tomorrow, if you're into that. And then we'll be cutting it because tomorrow is the Genshin update that adds the user-generated content. So we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about on Thursday. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.